am on. Hello, hello. I am on. Sorry for the small delay. Getting my microphone started was a pain in the butt. I'm still bad at live streaming. I don't know why. I haven't had much time to perfect it, but I hope to do better in future. 2025 is going to be a good chance for me to perfect that. And yeah, just first and foremost, I would like to acknowledge the opening comment because I 100% agree with it. I think Dragon Quarter, it needs acknowledgement. First and foremost, it needs that acknowledgement. I get that it has a lot of fans in the community, but I think the fact that there are people who deny its existence at all, it's really not fair just because it's a different game. But that is obviously just my personal opinion. I know there are many who agree with me. I know there are those who wouldn't agree. But this is but this stream is obviously about what I would personally like to see in a Dragon Quarter remaster. It's um it's a topic I've thought about. Like I've thought about a lot of games that I personally like, that I know that they're controversial in a series. And for me, I this is one of those games where I feel very strongly about it because of my history with the game. I used to be a hater of the game, funnily enough, but now as I've gotten older, I'm not saying this is necessarily for the case of everyone. I understand there are people who've played it and as they've gotten older still don't like it. That's perfectly fair, but for me personally, um, I found that this is a game that it really has changed my mind over the years. By the way, is my voice loud enough? I don't know if I'll just see. The years. By the way, is my voice loud enough? I don't know if yeah, I'm just testing my volume levels here. The years. Let's see. By the way, is my voice loud enough? I don't know if Okay, yep. Um, I increased my volume a bit, so I do think that it should. I do think that my voice should be good. But if I need to increase my volume, feel free to let me know. Um, I'm still getting used to adjusting the volume on my mic. I hope that it is good though. Um, yeah, I can actually even change the balance on that as well. But yeah, so actually, what I can just do, I'll turn this up a little bit. Okay, I am starting to get louder, which is good. Hello, hello, hello. Let's. Yep. Oh. Yep. Well, let's see. Yeah, this is now a louder volume. I do think this is better. Sorry for the ultra loud audio earlier. It's I can't hear it because I've got my desktop audio muted. But when I was checking my mic settings, it showed it just go off the charts. I'll lower it a bit. Yep. Okay, I do think this is good. Okay, now on to the topic itself. Yeah, I've been dancing a bit around this. Okay, so yeah, the game grew on me, and now I've beaten it 5 times. Never thought I would initially, like, I mean, after my first time playing it, and now I'm here saying what I would like in a remaster of it. Now, with that, let's get to the actual topic at hand. What do I want to see in the remaster? And if there were a remaster? Well, let's start with the criteria. I've got a few criteria that I like to. Like, when I review a game, I go over the criteria in my head, which is visuals, gameplay, writing, music, and replayability. These are very important to me. Like, I mean, these are the five, like, these five aspects. This is how I judge the game. I mean, I know everyone judges it by that, but I mean, like, I take it very seriously how I judge each category. Yeah, I know that didn't come off the best. Still getting used to trying to have a bit of that live stream presence. That was a bit of a waffle there. But yeah, of course, everyone cares about these aspects. But yeah, like everyone else, these are the categories that I like to talk about when I'm reviewing a game. So let's start off with the visuals. The visuals, I think, for their time, I actually like the visuals to Dragon Quarter. Sure, I understand. The older visuals of like the past games, like the 2D, it looks fantastic. I'm not gonna pretend like Dragon Quarter didn't change something that was never really a complaint of anyone. A lot of people loved the 2D visuals of the past games. However, with a remaster of Dragon Quarter, they wouldn't make it a 2D game, especially with the style of the game. It would still be 3D. So, here's what I would want. I would want an upscale. Like, I don't think they need to remake the assets, but just upscale them. Like, they still had nice detail, and I feel like with today's technology, just a simple upscale would actually help these visuals stand out a lot. They already look good. And also a brightness feature. I don't even remember if there was a brightness feature in the game. I mean, a screen brightness feature in the settings. But when I was playing the game on a modern TV, I think one of my mates was telling me that it really was a game designed for CRT TVs. And I believe it. Like, when I'm playing on a modern screen, it just is so hard to see anything. Like I said, I don't know if that's got to do with the TV itself or I just need to increase the screen brightness. But I don't think a game should need to have to be adjusted significantly, like, in terms of the brightness. Like, you shouldn't have to go to the options to change the brightness. Like, I think a game, if a game is that dark, that is a problem. Like, there were times in Dragon Quarter, like, especially in some of the corridors where it's like a bit brownish and all that. I'd be in sections where I'm just walking around and I felt a bit blind at times. I don't know about other people. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, filters would be good. I agree with that. It would need, I think, filters. Uh, I think that could help. But one thing I do know is the brightness itself is kind of an issue for me. That's where, like, I can definitely say the visuals themselves, like, yeah. So for me, it's like, those are the two key things with the visuals: brightness and upscaling. Another thing I would say is with the animations, I like the animations, but looking at the Suikoden remasters, I do think that they could do that. Like, you can have more advanced 3D animations as well. Like, I think it's fine for what its time was. 2002, an RPG released then, especially in the style of Dragon Quarter, where you're fighting on the field itself and moving around. Yes, I will get into gameplay very soon. I'm glad that you mentioned that point because that's something that I'm going to get into with my one of my points in gameplay. But I do still want to get into the topic of visuals. So, I think that they can modernize the animations. It's a game that, if they do have battle animations where it just is a little more polished for it, like adds a bit more flair to it, then that would be awesome. It's not even every battle animation though, because like there's ones where Ryu does the slash where he goes right through an opponent, like that Iaido kind of strike, and I love that move. That move wouldn't need really any touch ups, but there are some magic animations that I feel, like I said, good for their time, could use an update now. But that's all I can really say about the visuals, if I'm being honest. Like, there's only so much you can really do with the visuals, like with older games, like especially 3D games. And the game really, like I said, I'm happy with the visuals for the most part. So the next category is gameplay. Why not? I mean, I don't know if I said like in that order, visuals, gameplay, but I will talk about the gameplay. And I know that this is the topic that people would be tuning into, like being like, yeah, I want to know, how would you feel about the gameplay? Well, you brought up a great point, and this is actually leading to the point that I want to make. I feel like Capcom should do two modes. I feel like they should split it into modes because there are people like us who love the game for what it is, and I don't think that we should be told, no, your way of playing the game, you shouldn't play it that way because we need to say to everyone else, we're going to cater solely to you. No. Rather, to me, what they should do is have an original mode before you start. Just like our games have difficulty options, there should be. Yeah, sorry, there's a bit of background noise at the moment. My family's just 1 second, 1 second, because it just distracts me a bit when I'm trying to talk. I'm not good at like multitasking with like that. One second, 1 second. Okay, okay, I'm back. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, um, yeah. So what I propose is that there should be two modes. Like I said, like our games have easy, normal, hard. But instead, Capcom should have original mode. Yeah, exactly. Classic mode and modern mode. That's all it has to be. Like original, modern, or classic and modern. Like, yeah. Like, why not just do that? And with modern, they can still make it hard by saying if you die, yeah. Yeah, so if I keep stopping, I do like to read chat. And yeah, no problem with that as well. But yeah, I feel like what it can be is that in modern mode, if you die, you just go back to the beginning of the area. So that way, there's still a bit of that, you've got to, or like, there is some kind of punishment I feel for the player that should happen in modern mode. Maybe, or maybe they can just say, or maybe modern mode, like a lot of games like Sea of Stars or Euden, you can set challenges for yourself, like, or you can just play with no challenges and it plays like a regular RPG, or you can just add things saying, oh, if I die, I lose X amount of this and that and that. So you get to choose your challenge in modern mode. To me, that way, it can say to people, hey, if you want a bit of a challenge, but you didn't like the way Dragon Quarter challenged you because you felt like it was too cruel or this or that, you set the level of challenge. To me, that is how you handle that in particular. I do think that another aspect of gameplay, the only thing, and this is something that I think people might find a bit controversial, but I do feel like, I don't know, but I personally feel like that classic mode should also be seen as a master mode in a way, where if you play the modern mode, if you play the modern mode, then you can't get the ranking of 1/4. But if you play okay, let's continue. Well, yeah, sorry. Like, soundproofing in the house isn't particularly good. I'll just. Yeah, I'm gonna eventually have to soundproof this room. Yeah. I'll just wait it out a bit, just. Okay, and I'm back. Yep, because like now everything's a lot better sound wise. Okay, so so with the gameplay, how I said, like I said, I feel like the ranking of 1/4 should only be if you're playing in classic mode. And yeah, to me, that's like that could be seen as controversial. I don't know. Like, I think it's fair personally because here's why. If you can beat it on modern mode, then you understand how to play the game at that point, and there's no real stopping you from there's no real stopping you from beating it on classic mode. Like, there'd be nothing really at all. But I feel like, and I think it gives people an incentive to play classic mode as well. Whereas if people can just say, oh, I'm just going to play it modern and not actually give a chance to classic mode, then I feel like it kind of validates the idea, oh yeah, that we don't think, oh, this worked particularly well, when the idea itself is actually good, but maybe just letting people ease into the game and understand how to play it first before having to play it the way that it was meant to be played originally. Like, I feel like there is that big difference. When a lot of people played Dragon Quarter for the first time, me included when I was a kid, it was so hard to play the game because there was no real way to know how to play the game. We were just kind of expected to really know and yeah, and struggle our way through it. But once you actually know how to play Dragon Quarter, it's actually a very manageable game. Like, it's nowhere near as hard. Yeah, that could definitely work as well. About achievement lists, like getting the rank points, like changing that around a bit. Hmm. Yeah, that could be a thing as well. Like managing how D ratios work for for modern and classic as like being separate things. Maybe there is no D ratio at all for modern because maybe people don't want to have to just replay it. Maybe it's more just it can be even more it can be like they get the roguelite aspect of just randomizing loot, but outside of randomization of loot, you can actually and and chest drops and all that, outside of that, there's no need for a D ratio in modern because you can just get what you want and it's less stressful. Now the other part of the gameplay is the coin save. The coin save, I think for a modern one, I mean for a modern mode, has to be taken out. Not because I have a problem with it personally. I never ran out of coins, but then again, I played the PAL version, being from Australia. In the PAL version, you get 9 coins to start off with, and especially if you know what you're doing and don't save regularly, you just save after every 2-3 hours of gameplay. Yeah, like you're never gonna really run out of coins like that. Hmm. I haven't played RE7. I have it, but I haven't played it yet. The only Resident Evil I've actually played is 6. Don't judge me. Yeah, I played with my friend back in my days when I was studying game design. Maybe a few years after that. But like he would come over and we just spend some nights just playing RE6 multiplayer. Hmm. I think that yeah, I think however it is, I'd have to look that up. So maybe tell me how it works because I would like to know how the save system works in those games because I know that people talk about how how Dragon Quarter's save system was based on classic Resident Evil, but because I've never really played the old games, I don't actually know how that save system works. But yeah, outside of that, yeah, like save system. Oh, another thing. So gameplay battle system. Now, I love the battle system. Dragon Quarter has one of my favorite battle systems ever. And seriously, the only things I would add to the battle system is that Ryu and Nina do not have enough combos. Nina has no combos, and Ryu only has one. Like, I don't like how Ryu only has one combo in the whole game. I've played the game so many times, and yet I looked up the guide one day because I'm like, I don't want to guess combos with Ryu because I don't know, because I've tried all different kinds of things and they don't work. So, how many does he have? And I saw it in the guide and it's like, no, he only has X slash. And I'm like, what? Or is it X Blade? I keep forgetting the name of it. But it's like, really? He only has one? And Lynn, she has many. Lynn actually has by far the most. And Nina's got zero. So yeah, I don't like the combo system in Dragon Quarter in that aspect. I don't like that the amount of combos is just so underwhelming. I felt like there were so many possibilities. Like, come on, Ryu could have a combo even with his dragon mode or something, like where you can even make it like, yeah, you get a D counter increase, like the D counter will rise a little bit, but like maybe a little bit, but like it does an insane combo where it's maybe like a semi transformation. And I feel like other combos, like there were so many other moves, like that Iaido move, that slash where he goes right through people. There could be a move before that. I feel like there just isn't enough meat in the combo department. And Nina, as if you wouldn't want to be able to fuse thunder, electric and fire magic, or fire and ice. Like there are so many possibilities, but they really limited it. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I mean, I know that there were like it was on a smaller budget, but when you show people when you show people something so ambitious like a combo system like that, I feel like you have to go the whole way or you got to scrap the combo system. Like, you don't give people a taste of what it can be by saying, hey, here's a cool combo. Now, yeah, like, here's a cool combo. But that's it. But ultimately, yeah, we never got that, so it's kind of a dream in a way. It's like a person can dream of more combos in Dragon Quarter. Now I want to go back to the save topic because you explained it, but I wanted to talk about the battle system first while you were typing that out. Um, ah, yeah. Okay, I understand that. Yeah. And I think that is an accessible way to do it. Like, have an auto save. Auto saves are just. Auto saves just solve so many problems. At the very least, with an auto save, even if a person has to go back a little bit, like they have to go back to like the start of an area, I think people would much prefer that, even if they would still be slightly annoyed. I think it's far more tolerable for people than having to just be like, well, you know, like I'm out of save coins, or yeah, like I'm out of it. Or save tokens, really. My memory of what they're all called is terrible. Even though I only played Dragon Quarter again a few months back. Oh well. But like, having that limited amount of saves, I get why it would annoy people. Some people only want to play for an hour a day and have to save more regularly. And when you've got that, and also you get punished for saving as well. Like your D ratio, your D ratio, it's you can't get a 1/4 if you save at all, I think. Which is kind of mental to think about. It's like, oh man, so saving is kind of a scary thing in Dragon Quarter, and I can understand why people would be upset about that in particular. I do think that that's something that in a remaster should be fixed, because I do think that even having a classic mode, it's really not fair to tell people you have to play for 10 hours. I know that in the NTSC version, you had a temporary save, so it didn't count to your actual save file. But in the PAL region, we didn't have the temporary save feature, so you'd have to play for 8 or 10 hours straight. And I don't think it's fair to expect people to burn out their console, like to leave their console on for that, or even just to have this temporary save. I think that the save system does need reworking. Only because, yeah, like I said, don't want people to. You don't want people to feel pressured to playing your game for longer. You want them to feel like, yeah, I come back refreshed and I've got that mindset. The game's already tough enough with the resource management. Yeah, I remember Euro Extreme in Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, and you can have stuff like that. If people want a punishment mode where it's where it's like, oh yeah, saving, you can't save or else you can't get the ultimate rank. Fine, if people want to do that. But I think that there should be that allowance for people to not have to do that. Now, as for, let's see, there is another thing. With the ant colony, I love the ant colony. But I think the ant colony should have had a fishing area. Like, people talk about, like, this was mentioned on Reddit, and and I agree with people. I know that there wasn't enough time to implement it, but with a remaster, what would stop them from having a fishing game? And like, especially for Dragon Quarter, that would be really interesting because, like, you're talking about this underground place, where people have lived for a long time, and there's been a lot of industrial, like, there's a lot of, like, it's a one big industrial area. Like, so I just feel like, you could have, like, maybe some mutated fish as a bit of a gag or something, or like fish that, like, yeah, you can have maybe, like, depending on the area, some fish look more normal, and some areas it's like, oh my gosh, this thing is, like, I know I said ant colony, but like maybe that's one area where you can do it, kind of like Digimon World Next Order, where in Digimon World Next Order, you've got, in your hub, you can set up fishing areas. But you can also travel around the world of Digimon, like the digital world, yeah, that's what I should be saying. And you can get, and you can get other fish from those areas. And the more you go to those areas, you can eventually get those kinds of fish in your base. Eiyuden Chronicles also does that as well. So I feel like that's how they should do it for Dragon Quarter. And yeah, it would have some interesting stuff. Like, I don't think it should be used for health items or anything like that, but I think it could be used just for a bit of fun, and maybe it could be another way of getting money. Maybe it's a good way to earn money in the game. Since, like, money is such an important aspect of Dragon Quarter because it's a resource management game, maybe fishing. Like, you gotta. But see, how awesome would it be then? You've got to manage your time with fishing because you know that the game is saying, oh, to get a ratio of 1/4, you've got to balance your time between doing these money raising activities and, yeah, and playing the game in a timely fashion. Like, it would have even more relevance to that. But yeah, that's another thing. I'm gonna be right back. I've just got to fill up with get some more water. It's actually really hot in here, especially with the door closed. I might actually open up the door so I can get a bit of air in here too. Okay, I am back. Okay. Oh. Woo! Summer heat. Ah. um. Okay. So I talked about fishing, but now, yeah, there was another feature I wanted to talk about. Yeah, the ant colony itself. That's what I was going to talk about. The ant colony is it's very well. Like, I mean, it's very well done, and I think a remaster can't really add that much more to it. But maybe maybe they should have an item like healing items that you can purchase in the ant colony. Like, the fact that you can't purchase anything like healing items does kind of stink in a way. It's like, okay, I've got to go to the next town. I get that it is a resource management game. I mean, I guess that's part of the problem, isn't it, though? Like, you got to balance it out. You can't just say, oh, I want to be able to just keep stocking up on healing items when part of the challenge of the game is to say, oh, you can't just do whatever you want. Like, you gotta learn to balance things. You gotta Learn to manage your resources well. Or else, where's the challenge in the game? That's kind of a problem, isn't it? So, is there anything that can really be added in the ant colony? Ah, yes, I know. The ant colony can have better explanations of things. There are times I feel like the ant colony, the descriptions for certain activities just feels really limited. It's like, okay, but that doesn't really tell me much. It's like a bit more of a description would be better. Like clearer explanations. It doesn't have to be long, just clearer. Like they can elaborate on things. But yeah, I think elaborating, that's pretty much the only thing I'd want them to do because outside of that, the ant colony is actually done really well. Like, I know there was that Reddit comment where they wanted, like, a village building aspect, but I don't think you really need to. Like, the ant colony is that already. So, so yeah, for me personally, that's what I feel. I think it's fine as is. Just have more descriptions. Oh yeah, I was gonna say maybe one thing, but no, there already is that like that dungeon, like the I don't actually know how to say it. I'm gonna look it up because I've never actually gone in the optional dungeon. Um, Kokon Hooray. Yeah. Like, you can use that as that extra battle area. Now, another aspect of gameplay that I would want, and this kind of ties in with visuals. This is what I really want to see Dragon Quarter do. And you can feel free to disagree with me on this. This can be a bit of a controversial opinion. Like, especially for the ending one. I would like to see, like, once you've beaten the game, you get two cutscenes. One where it's based on the because there was actually apparently we didn't get it in the PAL version, I don't think, or at least I don't know. But one guy I saw in a video shows that Dragon Quarter comes with this explanation of its world, how everything happened, and I don't think everyone got that because I checked my copy and like after watching that video, and I never saw anything like that. It wasn't in my instructions, wasn't in anything. I'd like to see maybe like you unlock it and they can have a narrator and it just shows the images like HD, like it's in HD, and like it just fades and you just see the narrator saying da 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 da, like this world blah 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 was like this. And you get, and maybe they can add in some extra things, a bit about the lore of what's going on in this world, like about Ojin and Shetty. And I'm probably butchering their names, but I never looked it up how to actually properly say it. But I feel like I'm saying Ojin correctly. I feel like that's gotta be the way to say it. But I'd have to look that up. But yeah, like I would like to see like a bit of that extra flair added to the game where you see stuff like that. And the final one could be like where they actually show maybe just a still image and like you just hear like birds in the background like wind and all that, and like it doesn't even have to be a still image. It can be, I mean, like it could be a bit animated. Maybe you see people walking around. Like people are now on the surface now that Ryu, Nina, and Lin have made it. And maybe you see Ryu and Nina and Lin like they're much happier. Obviously now they're at on the surface, and maybe there are people on the surface with them, and like people are starting anew. Like, I would like to see something like that. Maybe as just like a neat little extra to show how everyone's moved on since that period of time. And yeah, I think it's a neat little. Like, it can still keep the mystery of the game. It doesn't have to show too much. It doesn't have to show. Like, it doesn't have to show a whole world. One second. Hey. Um, yeah, sorry. Some people in my family don't know I'm doing a live stream, so I just had to indicate to them I'm doing a live stream. um, yeah, I'm still not too particularly good at getting people to. I like going at. I mean, at making it clear about that, but about like about telling people I'm doing a live stream. I think I'm gonna need to have like a recording in progress kind of thing set up on my door. Like, I'm still trying to get used to the whole live streaming aspect like that. Because if I close my door, it's really stuffy in the room, makes it harder to breathe. So I don't want to go for that. Um, yeah, I think in future I'm just gonna have live stream in progress kind of thing on my door. Okay, but back to what I was saying with the game. I do think, yeah, it can just be a simple scene. It because that way you can still keep the mystery of this world that's just now looking like it's recovered and all. So I feel like that's something that's important in the game. Not over. Yeah, like they don't have to show too much to people and ruin the beauty of the ending. And maybe they could even add in a challenge mode. Like there could be like a challenge mode where whether like once you've beaten the game, there could be a Kokon Hooray challenge mode in the menu of the game where it's like you start off like maybe it's like an extra hard mode of Kokon Hooray, or then again I haven't played that particular mode so I wouldn't know. Like that's one of the things I've been kind of scared to tackle in Dragon Quarter. But yeah, it's just one of those things I feel like it's worth adding. Maybe do something with that optional dungeon, like make some extras to it. Maybe because there are people who've already mastered that mode, maybe it's like a way like they can add in some extra things. Yeah, considering that we've already mentioned earlier in the video how you can set your like maybe they can add in set your own challenges into the game. Maybe that's a potential thing they can do. Set your own challenges for Kokon Hooray. Or Kokon Hooray, however they say it. That is that's one potential way of adding something to it. So yeah, that to me is the gameplay aspect. And I think the music kind of can tie into that as well. Like, I feel like the music, maybe in the menu, you can have, like, instead of just having to go into the ant colony, because I know in the ant colony, like, they sell the records and all. I mean, I would like just to have like a regular gallery and like Oh, yes. There's another thing in the gameplay. Yeah, this is something that I tend to do. Like I've got a lot of ideas, but sometimes I forget because I don't write my ideas down. This was another thing. A gallery. They need to have a gallery for cutscenes. How awesome would it be if with Dragon Quarter you could just watch, like you just like you beat in the game, all the cutscenes, all the soul moments you've unlocked, you get to watch it as like one big movie, or like you can watch it either in a row, or like you can set it to watch all of them, or you can just pick out an individual one that you want to watch. And I do think we need a behind the scenes video. Like I would love to see a behind the scenes for Dragon Quarter, how they made it, like all that stuff for us who really loved the game especially and wanted to know what they were thinking when making it. Because yeah, we got some tidbits about we made it because we wanted to do this and that, but like a bit more of an in-depth analysis. Like part of what I loved growing up was watching behind the scenes of Metal Gear Solid 2, seeing how they made the game, like the thought process behind it, and then they showed a promotional video right at the end of the video. Like after they finished talking, it showed some behind, like it showed that promotional. I think that would be so epic. We would need that in a remaster. No doubt in my mind, that is a must. They've got to have stuff like that. It just gives more of a reason, even if you're not playing the game, or even if you want to do more than just play the game, you want to understand the game, but you don't want to have to dig up everything on the internet. You want a source that's just there for you so you can know. Then, yeah, I think that should be readily available to people. I'm a firm believer in gaming history being more publicly available. I think that a lot of games, we just don't know enough about them. It's such a joy when you can see things like MGS2 have those behind the scenes. It's so good for gaming history purposes. Yeah, is there anything else? Like, because I keep saying to myself, yep, that's everything, and then I'm like, oh, wait, no, there's something else. There was something else, I will admit, that I was going to add, but I think it might be a bit of a stretch. And it's like, yeah, maybe having like one of the songs from Dragon Quarter performed again. Like we get a video of like one of the songs being performed. Like we get to watch like a live video for it. I mean the ending song, maybe they could do that. That would be a neat addition, like a 2000 and whatever, whenever the game would be released. I mean, I know that's a stretch, but like you get this yeah, you get a version of the you get a version of the song that's more modern. Not more modern, like the singer, the original singer, she goes again for it. Like the whole group, they do that song. I'd be totally down for that. I don't know how. I don't know if that would be. I don't know if they'd want to put money into that, like making that happen, but I think it would be a really neat addition. So yeah, that's what I think with the gameplay. I mean, I know I'm probably gonna bring up something again, be like, oh yeah, there was something else I missed. But let's see, eh? Let us see. Dun dun dun. Music or writing? Let's see. Writing or music? What topic should be covered? Well, I think with the music, I mean, come on. It was made by Hitoshi Sakimoto. I mean, like, the guy's a genius. I don't think there's much you can really do with the music. It's already awesome to listen to. Like I said, gallery. And the only other thing I can say is maybe remaster the music. Because, I mean, now, like, yeah, nowadays, 2020s, I mean, we're in the 2020s. Like, you can remaster PS2 music. Like they did for Suikoden's 1 and 2 on that were PS1 games. I think they can do that. Just remaster the music. And there is one other thing. As a composer myself, I feel like there are a lot of unused tracks that like I know I have and I've heard about other like I've heard from about composers when I hear about them having unused tracks for games. How awesome would it be if we got to hear like if there was a collection of unused tracks in the gallery that we would be able to listen to? How cool would that be? Like, we get to say, oh, Hitoshi Sakimoto was originally going to make this song. I mean, he was going to, like, he made this song for the game, but it didn't get past the cutting room floor. Like, yeah, it just got cut and, yeah. Like, that would be really interesting to me, like, to see unused tracks, because they would have sounded awesome, but just weren't relevant. Like they just didn't maybe work as well as another song. That to me would be awesome in a Dragon Quarter remaster. Just knowing, oh yeah, we can see some of Sakimoto's work, and also we can have what about Yoshikawa's work as an artist? I mean that goes into the visual department, like his concept art. Like, because we can only see that in like you can only see that online. How awesome would it be if we got to see? But it's like how Bosch was meant to be a grass runner. He was meant to be part of the grass runners, but yeah, like how awesome would it be if we get to see like high quality images showing what Bosch was gonna look like, or Ryu's gonna look like, or Nina, or Lin. Like, how awesome would that be if we get these kinds of details? These kinds of things should be present in the game itself for people to see. But outside of that, yeah, I can't really think too much about the music because the music's pretty hyped for Dragon Quarter. Funnily enough, even people who aren't fans of Dragon Quarter will go and talk about the music saying, yeah man, I love the music. It's like, the music is something that a lot of people can actually agree about Dragon Quarter that's pretty hype. So, yeah, I don't think there's really much to say about the music. The writing, then. Okay. The writing. This is where things get interesting. I'd like to ask you guys a question. What do you think of the writing for Dragon Quarter? And I'll explain why I'm asking this question. But I want to know your thoughts in the comments section. What do you think about the writing to Dragon Quarter? if you're unable to type, like, I'll give maybe just a few minutes and I'll keep talking while waiting, so I'm not just sitting here like this. But yeah, I am genuinely interested in what you guys think about this because I know that this is one of those topics that does divide people about Dragon Quarter. And while I'm waiting for a bit, like, yeah, I'll talk about this shirt. I've had this shirt, this Dragon Quarter shirt, for actually a little while now. It's so cool. I wear it to like whenever I go to like a musical event or whatever, or even an anime event. I always wear my Dragon Quarter shirt. And people always ask me, oh man, where's that from? That looks so sick. Like, what anime or game is that from? I'm like, oh, it's from Breath of Fire 5. It's from Breath of Fire 5 Dragon Quarter. People are like, what? What's that? I mean, I'm like, you can just see my heart be like, ah, the pain. People don't know about this game. So many don't know. But, yeah, what can you do, eh? Huh, I didn't realize this was categorized as music. Ha! Oh, no way. My video is categorized as music. I didn't even know. That's hilarious. Yeah, this isn't a music video. This is me talking about Dragon Quarter. But yeah, I love wearing this shirt. It's one of my favorite shirts to wear. That and my Wild Arms shirt. I used to have a heap of Suikoden shirts, but now I don't. I'm so sad about it. Had a Street Fighter shirt as well. Had to retire a lot of the shirts. It's so sad. Funnily enough, I've never had a Metal Gear shirt. Never had a Metal Gear shirt. So depressing about that. But yeah. I still have this. But okay, I think that's a long time enough, long enough time to wait about that. Okay, so what I want to talk about the writing, like what I was talking about is I've seen people have very mixed opinions about Dragon Quarter's writing. I I honestly have no idea how to describe Dragon Quarter's writing. I mean, like in terms of its popularity, it's it's all over the place. Like what people think. I've seen opinions like, "Oh, the writing is childish." I literally have seen that. Like someone who was saying, "Oh, it's childish writing," but then I've seen people who've said, "Nah, it's got one of the best stories in a JRPG." And like awesome characters who you love seeing them interact with each other. I honestly have no idea how people can have such different opinions on one game's story. It's like it's childish, no, it's mature. It's boring, no, it's tense. It keeps me on edge. So where would the writing, how can a remaster address the writing of Dragon Quarter? this is the problem. How do you address the writing? How do you make this a game where it's like you can polish something when there doesn't seem to be a consensus on Dragon Quarter's writing? But this is a video where I said what I want to see in a remaster of Dragon Quarter. So I'll give my opinion, what I think could be worked on. Okay, let's see. Let us see. I think maybe a bit more depth in the characters. Like Lyn. Lyn, I feel like Lyn, we don't really know that much about her at all. Like, we know a little bit, but while every other character gets a bit of detail added into them, like I get with Ryu, we don't want to know too much about Ryu. I think everything that we know about him, it makes sense, right? He's meant to be the clean slate kind of guy. He's an average Joe. You don't want to know too much about him because you don't want to give him this sense of chosen oneness when he's meant to be the average Joe who rises above. So, pretty much, unlike Naruto, don't make his backstory too detailed and then change him from this character that we love him because he's the average Joe to I'm the chosen one. We don't need that. We don't need chosen one Ryu. For Dragon Quarter at least. Doesn't work well. But Lyn, I feel like her past could be explored a bit more. I just feel like there could be cutscenes where we see maybe Lyn when she first joined Trinity, like what her beliefs were and all that when she joined Trinity. Because there's clearly a bit of conflict in Lyn's life. And especially, like, you see that, like, the pessimism in her at times. But then you actually see her, like, but she's not a bad person. She actually clearly has a heart. Lyn's not this person who's heartless. But there are times where her pessimism really comes through. And I feel like she deserved more of a backstory. I understand that Ryu and Nina, of course, they are the main duo of Breath of Fire. So the developers always want to give them that extra fleshing out. But in past Breath of Fire games, part of what I love about old Breath of Fire games is that the rest of the cast do get a fair amount of detail. Like, they do get more to their backstory. We do get to learn more about these characters. But in Dragon Quarter, it really is the Ryu and Nina show in that regard at least. So Lyn, I would love to learn more about Lyn. Personally. I think Bosch could have a bit more detail in his story, but I do think we already know enough about Bosch in a way. Like, we do learn a bit about Bosch. Let's face it, like, what we do learn in the Soul cutscenes, it kind of tells us what we need to know about him. But maybe, because like with Ryu, we do see a bit of that process with him and Ojin. So maybe we can see more of that with Bosch and Shetty. Like, maybe we can see maybe there can be some more cutscenes, like unlockable cutscenes when you die or beat the game, where there can be something where we can maybe see Bosch having a bit more banter with Shetty or Shetai. I don't know how to say his name. I'm gonna keep getting it wrong. Maybe I should just accept that I don't know and just yeah, just accept it and go with whatever. But um but yeah, maybe there can be a bit more of that banter where you see the nature of their relationship and yeah, it's got that contrast to Ryu. It adds a bit more of that contrast, adds a bit more to that more of that depth to that conflict, that they're the two sides battling out with each other, and we get to understand their relationships with the dragons. That's something to me that could be explored, and it doesn't even have to be that much of the game. I know there are people who want Dragon Quarter to be a longer game, and I know there are people who feel it's too long because it's a roguelite. So that's what it goes back to my point that the opinions on Dragon Quarter are so split. It really is hard with Dragon Quarter. It's really difficult because if you go too much one way, people will think, oh yeah, well, oh this is too much. And then if you go the other way, they'll say it's too little. It's kind of a hard situation. But I do feel like this can at least be mitigated with the modern mode, as we were talking about earlier. Having a modern mode does help address that. So if you want to add more to the game, you want to add more scenes with Lynn, more scenes with Bosch. Maybe I think Elion is done to perfection. I would not add anything to Elion. Elion to me, and even the Regents, Elion and the Regents, I am happy with that. No need to add anything to them. They are done brilliantly, in my opinion. The other question is, do you add a fourth party member? I know Bosch is technically that guy, but nah, because if it's a remaster, you can't. You'd have to remake the game if you're gonna add in a fourth party member. So no, no fourth party member. I don't think that would work. Let's see then. What else can be added in the writing department? To be honest, I actually like the way the game was translated. So I don't think that the translation really would bug me. Maybe they can clean it up a little bit. Maybe there are some inconsistencies to the original Japanese text that can be cleaned up. But outside of that, I mean, is there anything that can really be. Is there anything else that can be added? And the writing is. Let's see. I'll have a brief think about this. I am, yeah. Connection's back. Okay, that's good. Let's see. Okay, in the writing department, maybe they can reference a bit more about how this world came to be. Like I said, I know I mentioned that in the cutscene, but that is, like I said, that can be the unlockable cutscene. But I do feel like there should be maybe something added to the writing where they talk a bit more about how the world's been this way for a long time. Like, do people even like people talk about? I mean, but they kind of do talk about that. Like, I don't know if I'm just adding something that would just be padding. Like, I don't want to get into the area. I don't want to get to the point where it's just padding. I want it to be genuine, like something genuine, something that makes people learn something about the game, learn something new about the lore of the game. And the game, actually, for the most part, does a great job of talking about its lore, like through talking to NPCs, doing this cutscenes. It's like you do learn a lot about the game. You do learn a lot about it. So, the only other thing I can add, and this ties into gameplay, at least for now, this is the only thing I can add. What about this? What about this? If you've got fast travel, like, yeah, let's say you want to go back to past areas you've explored, and maybe this is only accessible in modern mode. So it gives classic players maybe a reason to play modern mode if they want to experience the game in a more casual sense, like play it more as a standard RPG. You go back to the areas that you've already explored, and as you've unlocked more things in the game and more events happen, people's text can change and they have more to say because more's going on at that point in time. And maybe this can lead to some optional battles as well, where it adds a bit more it's like, oh, you've come back to this area and maybe you see people getting harassed or something, or something's going on in the game and you want to, there's more of a reason to go back now because in the modern mode there's no restriction to going backwards. So yeah, maybe they can add in more cutscenes, more NPC thoughts, like more thoughts, more addition to the lore, more battles. This is, I feel like, an easier way to do it rather than trying to add more to the story. Because I feel like once you do that, you're getting into territory where you've got to just flat out remake the game. And I don't like that. I don't think. Like, I wouldn't want to see them have to push themselves to actually just have to remake the game when these are things that can be added into the game. At least that's what I think. Let's see. Yeah. I think actually that is the way to do it. It kind of has this dual effect, doesn't it? Everything that we've talked about today. You give classic players, classic Dragon Quarter fans, a reason to play modern mode. And by making the game more accessible while still keeping the game true to what it is, by allowing people to understand how to play the game by playing in modern mode, you give them more of an incentive to play classic mode. So that should, I think, be the ultimate goal in a way for Capcom, making it that the game, for what it originally was how it was intended to be played, giving the game that validation for how it was originally meant to be played, while also giving people a way to enjoy the game in a modern sense as well. Like, I mean, giving people that variety, like a new way to play it. Yeah, giving them a new way to play it. And this goes into the final category of replayability. Dragon Quarter is a replayable game. There's no doubt about it. It's a game with a lot of replay value. Whether you want to play it as a speedrunner, whether you want to uncover its secrets, whether you want to say how many times you can use the dragon without getting a game over. You want to get a dragon quarter ratio of 1/4. You want to see how well you can do a Kokon Hooray. You want to see if you can get the best equipment in the game. You want to do a minimalist run maybe, like how little resources you can have. You want to set challenges for yourself, like maybe not using party XP. Or like finding different ways to beat the game, like seeing as many ways you can do it. Like, can you do a magicless run? Like, I know it should make Nina useless, but yeah, like, the game is replayable. And I think with what we've mentioned today, the game would be even more replayable. Ultimately, this is what it's all about. Making Dragon Quarter is a game designed for replayability, so why would you not want to add, like, wouldn't a remaster have that purpose of making this game even more replayable? Like, play to its strengths. And yeah, like I don't want to pad out this live stream with oh yeah, oh yeah, like I could talk about this or that. We covered the key topics here today. We've talked about the gameplay. We've talked about the music, the writing, the visuals, and how it all ties into that replayability. How we've talked about how this game as a remaster could work. Now, my opinions, these are just my opinions, right? And I know there would be plenty of people who will say, oh, I don't think this is the way to go because I think it's perfect as is. Or I think, oh no, you're not hitting it hard enough. The game needs to actually be remade instead. Oh, because it didn't work well enough. I know that my arguments here are not going to cater to everybody. You can't win over everyone. There's no one way. Like, there's no one singular way to look at it. But that's the beauty of discussing these things. Ultimately, and I know I've used the word ultimately a few times, sorry about that. Kind of gives it no meaning when I'm using it in that sense. But we're all fans of Breath of Fire here. We want to see this series come back. But yeah, we're talking about this kind of stuff because it hasn't come back. Whether you're a fan of Dragon Quarter or not, it really doesn't matter because someone is. For every person that isn't, there's someone that is. The same goes for all the Breath of Fire games. Yeah, sure, some of them are more popular than others. 3 and 4 are really popular. 2 has its fans as well. But even with that popularity, Capcom has not done anything with these games. And this is why we're here, we're sitting down talking about what could be. I go onto YouTube videos and what do I see? People saying, oh man, I'd love to see a Breath of Fire collection. But people always talk about 1 to 4. And that's why I want to make videos like this. This is why I'm talking about Dragon Quarter. I don't think it's fair like to just talk about 1 to 4. I don't think it's right. I think 5 deserves far more attention than it gets. It to me is it's disrespectful when there was clearly a lot of love put into this game. Even if you don't like something for being different, if something clearly has effort put into it, I think it's worth giving the time of day, like at least that respect. So yeah, this is the main purpose. I am going to keep making Breath of Fire 5 videos. I'm going to keep doing shorts about how it's connected to the series. I'm also planning, because I'm a pixel artist and composer, I do want to make cover videos where I show maybe cover some of the music and all that, and draw the characters in 2D. It's something I want to do, and I want people to join me on that journey as I bring more attention to this game. I want to be an active voice for this game, but I am going to need help. I do want the Dragon Quarter community to, I do want us all to work together on this. We are starting to see lesser known games rise in popularity. People who like games like Guardians Crusade, or like any of these obscure games, or games that weren't given as much a fair shake at the time, but are now like Suikoden 4 that are now starting to become more popular. People say, oh, you know what, this game was actually better than I originally remembered it to be. May not be the best game in their minds, but still better than what they originally thought. And even Dragon Quarter is starting to get there. But we need to keep talking about it. We need to keep saying, hey, well, you know what? Actually, this game did have a lot to work with. And how does it happen? With conversations like these. This video, this live stream, was never my way of saying, oh, Dragon Quarter sucks. It needs a remaster or remake to fix up the suckiness. No. This was a video designed to say, I love this game. And because I do, I want to see it have, like any other game that's getting remastered nowadays, I want to see how it can be improved to keep up with a modern audience, how we can keep it Keep that, yeah, keep it alive. Now, like I said, I'm not going to pad this video, so this is where the video is, at least this part is going to end. If you guys want to talk about anything, I am perfectly fine with that. Like, I am more than happy to discuss anything. But as for the remaster part of the video, like, my thoughts on what can be, yeah, like, there are probably things I may have missed or whatever, but to my knowledge of what I wanted to add, everything I wanted to say, that's what I wanted to say. So yeah, just let me know in the comments, the chat, if there's anything you want to say. Otherwise, I am done. And also, like, while I'm waiting to see if you guys would respond rather than me being quiet for that long, I just wanted to say as well, thank you to everyone who came to watch. I'm so grateful, and even like I really enjoyed the conversation with you, Cube210. I really enjoyed chatting to you about this. I love conversations with people about these kinds of topics. It was a fun video, and I got to learn a bit about other Capcom games as well, and talk about other kinds of series that I'm passionate about, like Suikoden, Metal Gear, a lot of awesome games out there. And also, I've learned recently subscriptions aren't always the best way to support a channel, but I think it still does help. So if anyone wants to subscribe, and yeah, it gives this channel a bit more to work with as well. Even leaving a like on the video if you enjoyed the content. Even with all the pauses I had, I am sorry about all that. I'm hoping to work on these kinds of issues for my content. But yeah, that kind of stuff, likes, comments, like keeping up the chats and all that, and the subscriptions, it does greatly help the channel. This year has been a big year for me where I've had a major growth in my channel, and I'm so grateful to everyone who's helping me grow with my grow my channel. You guys are awesome, and I greatly appreciate it. But yeah, I can see where no one's going to get to add to that for today. So with that in mind, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've had a great holiday season so far, and for however long it goes for, I hope you have an even better rest of your holidays. And I wish you all a happy new year. 2025 is going to bring more Dragon Quarter content, God willing, of course, from me, and there'll be music videos. I'm a composer, as I said. I'm going to be posting more music videos with my drawings. And I'm actually working on a game. I'm working on my own video game with my team. Our battle system is inspired by Breath of Fire 5 Dragon Quarter, and Gensor Suikoden, and old Breath of Fire games too. So it's got the row-based combat, but the way it works is like Breath of Fire 5. I mean, if you guys want, I can show you that actually. You know what? How about I show you guys a bit of our game? I think that might be an interesting way to end things. Game's got a long way to go, so it wouldn't be much of a spoiler. Like, and it's still early days with the game. Hmm, I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. Some parts are just placeholder assets for now, but yeah, you know what? I'll show you guys what it looks like to show you how it's tied to Dragon Quarter. But then again, maybe not. Because here's the thing. This is a Dragon Quarter video. I do want to keep it relevant. I'm conflicted. I don't know what to do. Hmm. Nah, I won't do it for now because I don't think it's right. I don't want to use this video to like just promote my stuff. But I've told you guys about it, and I think that's what matters. If you, like I said, with subscriptions, you'll be able to learn more about the game anyway over time. So I'll do it like that. So with that, I hope you all have a happy new year, and I'll see you guys in 2025. God willing. Bye. Yeah.